Hello, everybody. It is a stormy morning here, but that's not going to it's not going to stop us from doing game development, I don't think, anyway. We'll see. But, yeah, today we're going to be working some more on probably art. I still have a number of art things to do, some art updates to do. Let's see, we got to redo the start menu button, the recenter camera button, the alchemy pot. So this is all part of the effort, again, to brighten up some parts of the game and also create a consistent visual language for all the clickable elements. So I've been hard at work just trying to get all these things done, all these clickable elements updated and redrawn and so on and so forth. So we'll probably continue that today, but we may also take a break from that and do something a little bit different. So we will see how the stream goes. We'll see how we're feeling. But before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for wishlisting. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler. So if that sounds right up your alley, then what do you have to lose? Wishlist it. That would help me a lot. Also, you could support the game financially on Patreon if you so choose. Thank you to everyone who has supported on Patreon or is currently supporting on Patreon. That's very big help for me. Helps me pay some of my bills every month. And also, whatever development costs come up, like paying my friend to make the music. So yeah, this is definitely helpful, but you also get a number of good perks for supporting. For example, at this $15 a month tier, if you subscribe for at least 1 month, that is basically like a pre-purchase of the game. So I'm going to send you a copy of Alchemortis when the game launches. So you will not have to buy it on Steam again after you support on Patreon at this tier. And I'm also going to list you in the credits as a sponsor of the game. So your name will be in the credits. So, hey, there's a chance Alchemortis sells 1 million copies. Wouldn't it be cool if your name was in the credits of a game that sold that much, right? Something to think about. Anyway. But you could also support by purchasing one of my Udemy courses. You'll also learn how to build complete games in the Godot engine with these. You can also join the Discord. That's totally free. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitch. All those things are super helpful as well. And yeah, thank you for all your support. It's very much appreciated. And with that out of the way, we can get started. Hello, Ninja Link. Welcome back. Good to see you. 45 stream streak. Dang. So first of all, it's kind of crazy to think that I've done 45 streams since I started streaming on Twitch. That it doesn't seem like I've been doing, wow, 40, is that right? 45 streams? I've done 45 streams since I started streaming on Twitch. That doesn't seem right to me. Is that number, am I reading that number wrong? 40, that doesn't seem right. I don't think 45 is right. That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, good morning on the YouTube side, yeah. Hello, Nathan. Good morning to you. Z Cart, welcome from the West Coast. Very nice. Wow, that's very early on the West Coast. Not 45 days. Yeah, I know it's not 45 days, but I mean, I've only been streaming on Twitch for like a month, so that's 4 weeks. I guess maybe that makes sense, right? If I stream at least once a day for 4 weeks, that's 28 days. Plus you add in the double stream days. Maybe it just seems like a lot, like 45 streams already in a month. That's quite a lot. I'm on track to do more streams in a year than there are days in a year, which is kind of crazy to think about. Hello, Wooyus, welcome back. Welcome. So I was thinking actually the other day about, like, somebody asked me, how long have I spent working on the game? And I was like, I have no idea because I haven't tracked my time. But then I was thinking about it. It's like, wait, I've been streaming some of the development basically almost every day. So I could actually go back. I could maybe like take an average of the stream length and count up all the stream VODs on YouTube. And I could get at least a floor value for like the minimum amount of time that I've worked on the game. That would be kind of interesting to figure out. But anyway, we're not going to do that right now because we have art to do. So I'm going to save the best for last. I am going to not redraw, but like update the alchemy pot art, but I want to save that for last, I think. So the idea is that every clickable element is going to move away from the very dark color palette. It's the same color palette, but I'm talking about like the sub palettes within the color palette. So like previously for these kind of elements, what I would do is I would have, you know, like these, what is that, 4 colors? So I've got red, purple, dark purple, and black, right? And I would have to stick to those colors for basically everything. You can see like I'm using that style basically everywhere. But now the clickable elements, so all the things that are interactable, they have a couple of extra brighter colors available to them, orange and white. So they can use those 4 colors that I previously mentioned plus the orange and the white. And that goes a long way to brightening up the game, but it also, I think, creates a very consistent visual language on like, here are the interactable elements, right? Anything that is darker than that is probably not interactable, right? So I think it's turning out good. You can see I've updated these inventory and combat log buttons, which I think look a lot nicer now. And so, yeah, we're going to want to update this because this is a clickable element. And so this is going to need to be updated. I want to kind of spend a lot of time on this art in particular. I want to spend a lot of time on this art in particular because it's kind of like the main crux of the game. So yeah, we'll save that one for last. I'm going to put an inordinate amount of effort into that one to make it look really, really nice. And then we have to do the main menu stuff. So all these main menu buttons need to be updated. So these are going to use that new palette as well. And then the map recenter button, which I was actually going to get done last night, but I got sidetracked refactoring some of my visual fade in, fade out utilities, which I don't need to go into, but basically I recently discovered the existence of instance uniforms, which is basically a uniform value that you can set per instance without having to duplicate the material. So I could share a material reference between all these nodes, but because they all have an instance uniform, I can still control them individually. So I spent like an hour and a half last night refactoring a bunch of stuff so I could share materials and whatnot. Anyway, that's not important. We're going to do the map recenter button. And I don't know where that is. UI, oh, it's called a compass. Okay. UI compass. Okay. So we've got the outer part, the middle part, the needle, decoration. My cats are fighting now. Very cool. Just in time for the stream. Hey, cats. Stop. Thank you. So we'll just brighten that up a step there. We'll start with the decoration layer, I suppose. We'll see how this goes. We'll brighten this up a little bit. It already looks like, I can already tell that this is going to look much more appealing. Maybe. Maybe I spoke too soon. That should be fine. This one's probably okay. We are going to put some... There we go. I think this one's a little bit weird. Okay, that's probably fine. So that's already looking much nicer. Now the question is, do I want to leave these parts black or do I want to fill these in? No, I think leaving them black is good. Okay. Is this part, I think this part is part of the thumb there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and then what else is part of the decoration? All this stuff up here. So we'll do this. I don't know about this part here. Let's just redo this a little bit. Let's do this. And then maybe we'll make this one red. Yeah, I think I like that better. We'll make this one dark. We'll make these purple. Is that part of the decoration, I hope? No, it's not. Okay. Well, I guess it's fine. We'll leave it like that. Every time when I start streaming, it's, oh, the cats need to start being loud and distracting. What would we do without these creatures to distract us from our work? It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. So we've got the needle here. So yeah, I just have a lot more room to make some interesting, I don't know, some interesting shading decisions, I guess. Oh my gosh, the cat, he's howling. I should turn off my noise suppression so you guys can hear him. I'm not making it up. Okay. I didn't actually finish with this decoration though. I need to just put a couple of white pixels there. I think that works. I don't think there's really anything else to do here. And then the needle, that might be too much. Let's see. Maybe we just put that there. I think that looks decent enough. Okay, let's do the outer part now. So the thing is, I don't need to spend a whole lot of time. Like, I don't need to shade this whole part because that's all covered by the hand. So I'll keep the hand up so I can see what I'm doing. But then for this outer part, let's just do some light shading here. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And then we can put a white pixel there. Okay, and then we can really thicken this highlight up, I think. Maybe. Yeah, that'll look good. And then we could just grab... do I want to do this? Yeah, and then we can do something like that. I think that looks pretty good. So let's see how it looks like with all these things. So we just got to do the middle part now, but I think that looks much better. It's just got a little bit more depth to it. I really like this color scheme too, like these colors. So yeah. Hello Lamatos, welcome back. Do you keep your ASprite files in version control? I do, yes. I think it's recommended not to keep like binary files, like non-text files in Git. Like I think the typical recommendation is to use Git large file storage or whatever, but here's the thing. You got to pay for that, right? and I'm already paying for a GitHub subscription for the normal repositories. And it, you know, I think the only negative is like if you're storing a lot of binary files, the problem with storing binary files in Git is that it stores, every time that binary file changes, it stores an exact copy of it. So it doesn't do diffs against binaries. This is my understanding anyway. So that means that as your history grows, so too is the space that it's taking up. Like the size of the repository goes up and up and up if you're changing your binary files a lot, and also if your binary files are relatively large. But the thing about the Asprite files is that they are only a couple of kilobytes. So even if I change an Asprite file, it's creating a brand new entry in the history. I don't know how it works, but that is also a couple of kilobytes. So it's like I might end up, if I do 10 different versions of the Asprite file, I might end up with like 100 kilobytes of extra space being quote unquote wasted, which is like, that's fine, right? So I'm just going to actually look at the compass here. Yes, this is 9 kilobytes. So it's like the place where it really hurts to not use large file storage is like the music assets. Those are like 40 megabytes a piece. And so as those change and as I update those, it's just creating a new 40 megabyte entry every time. So I don't know. I mean, I could be totally wrong about how large files storage works, but that's a long-winded way of saying yes, I am I am storing all of my Asprite files and art files and audio files in version control directly. Just using the normal Git. Not large file storage or anything. Okay, so for the middle part now, what do we want to do here? I kind of like that. Just a random stray that bumped in the stream. Absolutely amazing artwork. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna call you Welcome to the stream. Yeah, glad you stopped by. Hopefully you stay a while. But that's okay if not too. Always like to see new people in the chat. I think this whole thing is a little bit weird, but that's probably fine. I think that's fine. I mean, this, maybe I'll make this black again. Maybe I'll just keep that black. I mean, I think that's probably okay. I don't really see any problems with that. Just want to make sure all my outlines are good. Okay. I think it's that's all right. I don't have any complaints about that. What happened here? Did my... Oh. I was doing it on the wrong layer. Classic. I honestly don't even know, like, should these even be separate layers? Should I just squish them down? Maybe not. Anyway, I think we've spent enough time on this, so... And there's our new map recenter button. Let's see what that looks like. I think that looks much nicer. What do you guys think? You like it? I think that's good. The other thing, I mentioned this before, but I'll say it again. The other thing I like about increasing the number of colors I'm using is that the fade out shader that's applied when I click this and it fades out, it goes through more steps. So it looks a little bit nicer, the fade out, because there's more colors to step through. So you'll notice, if you're paying attention, the white pixels that are on this thing, they take a little bit longer to fade out than the rest of everything else. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, it looks very chunky in a good way. Okay, update compass art. So now we have to go back to the main menu. And update all those things. So, main menu.asprite, here we go. I guess we'll just start with, let's lock the sky layer, hide that. Lock grass, hide that. Lock the trees. Okay, and then we'll lock the lantern, hide that. Lock the path. Okay. Okay, let's start with the start button. That did not work. Okay, this one's going to be a little bit... These pieces of art are a little bit more detailed. So this is probably going to take some time. But we'll make it work. So hopefully this will be a little bit... Yeah, this should be all right. We will see. I probably want to do... Yeah, something like that. And then what's going on down here? Oh, we got some thunder coming in. I hope my internet doesn't go out. That would suck. Okay, awesome. And then I'm going to just brighten those highlights up a little bit. This should probably be darker back here with maybe like some light there. Yeah, that's probably good. This needs to be like that. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. Cool beans, cool beans. Actually, I think that's mostly okay. I'm just going to try to add a little bit more texture in the places where it's kind of flat. Try being the keyword. What happens if I just make this a little bit thicker? Yeah, that looks fine to me. That's probably all right. Yeah, we don't need to spend too much time on that. And then for this plant here, That might be enough there, honestly. And we'll just increase the intensity of the highlights. Then we can slap that there and maybe that there. Cool. I think that's pretty much good. Oh, maybe I want to... yeah, put like one white pixel there or something. The Discord image should glow too. Yeah. What drawing program is this? Sprite. Hello, Monty. Welcome, welcome. Shrima, get down. Come on. Come on, get down. You're not allowed to sit on the router. Go, go, go. Now this cat wants attention. Oh my gosh. Should I grab both of them? Ah. Hello, cats. I have caught you. How do you feel about that? Okay. So here's the old start button. It's very dark. But if I can I just export this? Let's see. Do layer select. Reference rect. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Why can I not select the start button? Anyway, so this is just called main menu start button. Okay, so I should be able to do file scripts, export layers, export, get rid of this layer groups here. Shrima, get down. Get down. Come on. The culprits, yeah. Okay, so we exported one layer. There's our new start button. So let's just see what this looks like in game before I go too far with updating the main menu stuff. Check that out. How do we feel about that? Do we like that better? I think that looks much nicer. So imagine all of the clickable elements on this screen using that color palette. I think that looks much nicer, actually. I got a couple of points of feedback in one of the playtests that it wasn't easy to know what could be clicked on. So I'm trying to make my UI kind of like very thematic. I guess the technical word is diegetic. I don't like saying that because it, I don't know, feels too esoteric, but diegetic meaning that the UI looks like, I don't know how to describe it. You could look it up, I guess, but basically instead of having a bunch of buttons and drop downs for your UI, it's like actual environmental things, or the UI that you're interacting with is modeled after some kind of like actual control panel or something like that. So I'm trying to think of a good example. There's that slot machine game on Steam. It's like one of those gambler roguelite games. That would be a diegetic UI because the whole screen is basically a slot machine and you can like pull the lever and all that stuff. So is there a pet? What do you mean, Kezer B? Much better, I think. Awesome. Okay. Update start button art. And now we got to do more. We'll do the quit button next. Thought you were talking to something lower than you before. Oh. I do talk to the cats quite often. Okay, so we're gonna have to figure this one out too. Put these back though. That looks pretty good, I think. I think I kind of want to... I would say that's working pretty well. Yeah. I don't have any problems with that. Can probably thicken this part up. Yeah, that'll work. And then for these ones here, we can just put... yeah, something like that. That's probably all right. I think that's looking okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then we have to do this part down here. Trying to add some more detail in the shading here. That probably is okay. And then we can do something like this as well. Ah, so there is pets. Yes, there is. Yeah. Hello, uncaring universe and all who inhabit it. How's everyone doing? I'm doing well. How are you doing? Welcome back to the stream. Always good to see you. Okay. We are almost there. Almost done with this one anyway. Cool. And then we can place some of these white pixels around. I think it looks pretty good. No complaints, no regrets. File, scripts, export layers, save sprite. No regrets. I actually think I like that pixel placement better. How are you guys feeling? Should I keep going? Should I keep updating more of these buttons, or do you want to see something else? Look at that. Quit button. Boom. So I've got 3 more buttons to do on the main menu. So we can either keep doing that if you want to see that, or we can move on to something else. I'll leave it up to you guys. And the something else we move on to could be code related. It could be doing a new card. It could be doing a new artifact. There is a bug that I need to fix with a shader. So that might be nice, but what are the cats' names? Azir and Shurima from League of Legends. League of Legends lore. All right, so tell you what, why don't you put in the chat what you want to see, what you want to see me work on. We can, again, update more of these buttons, or we can work on some content. We can fix some bugs, do some code-related stuff, whatever. I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we'll see what we'll do. If there are suggestions in the chat about what to move on to, we'll do that. Otherwise, I'll figure out what to do myself. But anyway, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes, and we will continue on. All right, I'm back. Sorry for the delay. League has pulled me back in recently. I was sober for a solid couple years but fell off the wagon. I went through a phase like that too. League of Legends was basically my entire life from like 16 years old till like 24 or something like that. And then I took a break from it for a couple years, got pulled back in for like a year or two. But I'm happy to say I'm like 5 years clean of League of Legends now, except for like a couple of matches here and there because my friends and I were goofing off. But man, that I've never been more addicted to anything in my life than League of Legends ranked. that was like an all-consuming obsession for a very long time. But anyway, we're okay. I'm fine now. I went to Gamers Anonymous and had an accountability partner and became sober. Mine are embarrassing. Angus McPherson, William Katner, and Hissy Elliott. That's cute. I like that. Good morning, Jeremy. Might as well wrap up the rest of the buttons, get the main menu updated. Any thoughts on the game title increasing in size and some animation to it? Yeah, so this game title, I'm going to change all of the branding stuff about the game eventually, spend more effort on those things. All the Steam capsule art needs to be updated. The in-game title needs to be updated. I definitely want to make that more impressive for sure. You know, this is basically just here to just have something there, to have the title on the title screen, right? So yeah, I gotta work on all the branding stuff for sure, but that will be happening closer to release. I have not touched League in such a long time. The game requires such a large amount of commitment to play at any reasonable skill level. It does, yeah, it does. I found that, maybe this is true of all competitive games, but like the League ranked was like, it felt super inconsistent as well. Like you would go on these massive hot streaks and these massive loss streaks, and it was like the most frustrating thing. And, you know, I played ranked back when there were promotionals, right? So it's like you had to win 3 out of 5 games to be promoted to a higher rank. And like those were the worst matches because you've got like, you know, you've got like 2 wins and 2 losses, and this one is going to determine if you get promoted or not, and then you'd lose, and it's just, it was not, there was a part of it that wasn't fun, but then there was a part of it that was like unbelievably fun. It's hard. It's a conflicting, what you call it, feelings. Art stream is art stream. Let us watch more art be done. Sounds good. Don't mind what you stream. I got you up as a co-working stream, you know what I mean? Yeah, lots of people do that. Lots of people just throw my streams or my VODs on in the background while they work. I think that's helpful, you know, it is easier sometimes to get to work when there's somebody else kind of in the room working as well. So I definitely understand that for sure. Okay, let's keep going. I should probably redraw the Discord button. I don't really think that button is that good, but I don't think the lantern is that good either, honestly. So the reason why I didn't do a more traditional lantern style here is because I don't know how to draw glass with my color palette. I mean, I've kind of done it with the health upgrade options, but let's do the unlock button next, I suppose. We'll think about that later. Zoop. So this, hopefully, well, I'm not going to jinx myself. I think this will be rather straightforward because if you remember, I did this book on stream, and you remember I was having a really hard time with it because of the limited colors that I had. But now I've got more colors to work with, so this may end up being a little bit easier. Because now I can do things like this. Draw this up here. I'm still going to leave this dark black there. I think that looks really nice. Yeah, honestly, I think this one is probably going to be pretty straightforward. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I really have any complaints about that one. I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. How did I just... Oh. Oh, you can copy by holding control. That's nice to know. Okay. I have Firebelly up as a co-working stream 90% of the time. You can always tell when I don't have much work to do. Yeah, that's true. What rank were you in League? The highest rank I ever got was Diamond 3 in Season 6. So I think there's extra tiers or extra, what is it called, ranks now. So this was before like Emerald and all that other stuff was available. So Diamond 3 in Season 6 was the highest I ever got. But I was typically around like Diamond 5. Bottom of Diamond. Not to trigger you, yeah. Hello, Kelso, welcome. Good to see you again. Hello, Rookie Tookie, good to see you as well. I actually went to school with a guy who also played League of Legends. He was routinely like pushing Master was, I forgot what the ranks were back then. So this would have been like 2017 or 2018. 2017, I think. He was always pushing like one of the really high ranks. Like he was like Diamond 1 or like the bottom of the next rank after Diamond. He was really good. That was like, he was tough. We used to get together at my college and just do like, we had a bunch of people that played League. So we would get like 10 people in a room and we would play skirmishes, like we'd do 5v5s. And we had all kinds of skill ranges. We had people in gold, we had people in bronze, we had the guy that was in, you know, Diamond 1, and then me being on the lower Diamond end. it was really fun. I liked doing that. But whenever him and I were in opposite teams, we always ended up mid laning together because that was like the only semi doable skill matchup because he would just stomp everyone else in every other lane he went to, and I could at least hold my own against him. So that was a lot of fun, though. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed League for like a solid decade plus. Started in the beta and kept playing right up until I became an adult with a life. Yeah. I was basically like, I started playing in high school, and that would have been like a year after it came out of beta or something like that. And basically every single night after school was just, from the moment I got home to the moment I went to bed, was just League of Legends the entire time. Day in, day out, nonstop. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Shoot, I did this wrong. I might want to, let me try something really quick because this is kind of annoying me. We're going to do something a little bit fancy here. Open scripts folder. Export layers. We're going to get rid of this because I keep getting messed up. So by default, the file path that's generated when this does the export script is that it will take the group name and use that as a subdirectory and then the layer name as the PNG. But I never use the groups as like organizing subdirectories. I use them just to group the art together. So if I don't remember to remove this in the dialog manually, it creates a new directory and doesn't overwrite the existing file. So we could just go ahead and edit that script, rescan the scripts folder, and then now we can go to export layers, and that layer groups is no longer there, and so I could just export it from here. That's going to be a lot nicer. Similar but not the same, I was one win off platinum in Overwatch, and since then I've been in teams with people who could tell the brand of window by the flavor. Recently dropped down into silver, but back up to gold again now. Yeah, I played a lot of Overwatch too. Overwatch was fun. Why does this unlock button... This clickable control is not the correct size. There we go. Okay. Master and Challenger. I had a buddy who would get so mad at the game. Dude was incredibly normal IRL, but you put him in a game of League and he would just lose his mind. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people like that. They're like the nicest guy in real life, and then they die once in League of Legends and they just become like overcome with rage. It's like, oh my gosh. League definitely has a way of doing that to people. But I play much more chill games now, like Arc Raiders. This Discord button is not very good. It's going to need to be redrawn, I think, basically from scratch. But I'm not going to worry about doing that right now. I'm just going to focus on just updating the style to match everything else. And then we'll figure out, I'll figure out what to do with it later. Okay. I think with just those shading improvements, though, it's already looking much better. Yeah, I think that's decent. It doesn't, like I said, I'm going to probably want to redraw this anyway. So it doesn't need to be the most beautiful thing in the world. So this is all one image. So I need to do this and that. Choose file. Let's see how that looks. Does Arc have a ranked system at all? Will we ever get Arc Stream? Arc does have a ranked system, but it's not a PvP ranked system. Basically, there are... oh, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Oh, selected layers. So there are... Oh, nope. That's why. Oh, I have this set to 1000%. So Arc Raiders has like weekly challenges, which are mostly like PvE oriented, and they're score based. So you can rack up the score, and then your rank is based on like you're put into like a leaderboard of like 100 people, and you're competing with those 100 people to rack up scores. And then the people with the highest scores, like the highest 20% of scores, whatever, get promoted a couple of ranks, and then the people with like, you know, the next 30% highest score get promoted to like one rank, and then there's a range where you keep your rank, and then there's a range where you get demoted. So it's kind of an interesting system. I think it's a little bit half-baked, which is understandable because like it's not really supposed to be a PvP game, strictly speaking. But it is fun, and it gives you something to do in the game. Alrighty, we have one more thing to do. You want to get to know somebody, put them in a game of League, yeah. Started around the time Rammus came out in 2009 and stopped playing around 2015, around the time Tom Kench was released. Spent way too much money on the game, yeah. Yep, I did too. Artitrui? Is that how you say your name? Hello. I'm actually stunned how most of the time I don't understand anything you're doing, but I'm still entertained. Well, awesome. I'm glad it's entertaining. I'm glad that, yeah, glad that you can find enjoyment in the stream. We're just hanging out. We're just having a fun time. That's all. Doing some work. So I got to redo that lantern. I want to redraw that as well. I'm kind of tempted to like just completely redraw that right now, actually, because I really don't think like the Discord button is just a little bit weird looking. But the lantern, to me, it actually just feels out of place. Like the way that it's drawn does not seem to match like that. Now, I guess part of the issue is that this is kind of farther away, I guess, in the perspective. Like these things are kind of like all in the foreground and this is hanging up in the tree back there. So maybe that's what I was going for when I initially drew it, but I don't know. I don't know if that's necessary. Let's just redraw. Let's just redraw the lantern here. And I think what I may do instead, let me look something up. So maybe I'll do like a brazier. Like the Valheim one. That'd be kind of cool. So the reason I'm looking this up, I was just wondering how the chains actually connect. So sometimes there's a single chain going down into multiple chains. Sometimes all the chains just hang up there. So let's see. I guess I'm gonna need the tree here so I know what I'm doing. So we'll try something like this, I suppose. I think this will look a lot nicer, but we shall see. Okay. I'm getting there. Looks super straight and stiff. It's missing some curves. Chain should be light colored. Nah. No, I don't think so. I think it's fine. I think it's turning out good. We're going to put fire in there too, so how am I going to do that? Original look straight and stiff. This one's great. Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, I see. You were talking about the original one. Gotcha. Yeah, the original one was no good. Rotten, no good, pig stealing, great-great-grandfather. It's time for Game Dev once again. Yes, it is. Welcome back, Jackie Daytona. Always good to see you. So this is going to break everything, but that's okay. Scripts. Save sprite. Here we go. I don't know why this takes so long. You like it, Ninja Link? Alrighty. So let's see. Dang it, I don't want to do that. Now I gotta figure out how to position this on the trees properly. I think that's correct. Yeah. If I was super fancy, I could actually animate that, but that's okay. So we got this flame here. Let's change this. Velocity, initial velocity. Is this even using, let's see. It is using the alternate frames, okay. Turn up the linear acceleration a little bit. And then the color curves. Let's move this ramp a little bit. And then the drawing. Let's see how that looks. Maybe it looks okay. We'll see. Change the box extents, bring those in just a little bit. I might up the particles as well. I'm going to change the linear acceleration again. Okay, so for these things though, lantern, let's add a canvas group. Oh, unfortunately, shoot. Here's what I'll do instead. So that outline is not working because it's targeting the lantern here. So this lantern background is not being highlighted because there's a big empty spot there. So what I'm going to do is, well, I can just take, let's just duplicate this. Not test, but whatever. That's in the wrong spot. Is it in the wrong spot? Oh, no, I guess not. So we'll just do this, and we'll move that down and merge that down, and then we have the lantern background. So we're basically just keeping that shape, so that way when I do the outline shader on it, it will look correct, even though... is that going to work? Actually, no. I'm not very bright, am I? That's not going to work. Because then the fire is going to render behind this part. Okay, I'm going to have to do the canvas group way of doing it then. I thought I was being clever, but I guess not. Well, it's fine. The problem is I didn't want the outline shader to affect the particles, but I think there's no way to avoid that, at least with what I currently have available. So we'll just do a canvas group and we'll slide all those things underneath that. And then this outline target is going to be the canvas group instead. How are you feeling about that? I almost feel like the skull's eye sockets need to have a little blue flames in them. Oh yeah, we could do that. We could do that. I'm gonna maybe I'll make the flame here blue. Let's do that. Since I'm adding a little bit of blue to all these, I think that will look really good. Hello, Junie, welcome. Could actually only cut out the inside part. Maybe. How do we feel about that? I think that looks decent. So the only thing missing blue is the Discord here. That looks awesome. Yeah, glad you like it. Glad you like it. Looks better than before. That's all that matters, you know? As long as I'm making good progress in the right direction. That's all that matters. I might as well go ahead. Let's do this. Let's update. Let's see. Update lantern. Let's go back to the Discord button now. Yeah. Did I make any changes to the art here? I don't think so. Okay. Discord button. I think that works. Oh, what happened to the grass? Wait a minute. Oh, I need to select both layers. There we go. All right, I think that's it for the main menu buttons. Main menu has been updated. Let's, I'm just going to share this in the Discord really quick. For those of people who are not in the stream. We're going to do a live post. Excellent. That does look much better. I'm glad I'm doing this brightening. That's definitely looking a lot better. Am I still live on Twitch? I hope so. I think so. Yeah, okay. Anyway, just seeing some weird stats on my end. Cool. So let's commit that. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. I've not heard your voice break out at all, so you're good. Okay, awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, we're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. I'm gonna have to redo a bunch of these menus and stuff too. Anyway, start menu buttons, recenter camera button. So just the pot is the only thing left to do for that one. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the pot. I'm gonna do the pot at some other point in time. I don't want to do it right now. So there is this bug that's basically breaking the game that I need to fix with the enchant event. So we're gonna go ahead and fix that. So before I do that though, I'm gonna take a quick 3-minute break. Why does the on-off full screen button look funky? So buttons in Godot cannot have like text effects applied to them. So when you put the text in the button, you can't do like outlines or shadows on that text. So I came up with a workaround for that with my custom button, which will take the text that's configured and it will add a label to the button instead of using the button text. And the labels by default have the shadows and the outlines on them. The problem though is with that on-off button, I guess what the problem is, I don't support like runtime changing of the text. So basically as soon as this button enters the tree, it takes whatever text was configured on the button through the editor and then assigns the label to have that text. But if the text changes during runtime, in the case of like the on-off button, that is not supported. So it's not actually like setting the text of the label. It's setting the text of the button directly. And so that's why I kind of get like overlaid text on it, where there's the label with the outline and the shadow, but then there's the button text that's still there. So basically I need to support like when the text changes during runtime, I need to dynamically update the label and make sure to reset the button text back to null. So it's just a little bit weird, that's all. But this is a good trick. I mean, I definitely recommend setting up like a custom button class for yourself. If at least to do this kind of thing where like typically what you'll have in your games is like every time you click a button, you're going to want to play a sound, right? And it's a huge pain in the rear to have to like hook up every scene with buttons to play a sound when each of those buttons are clicked. So what I do almost always is I set up a custom button class, which at a minimum registers with some kind of audio helper that the button press should play the button click sound, right? And so then I just use the custom button everywhere and I automatically get that sound effect being played whenever that button gets pressed. So I don't need to worry about wiring that up individually. So I definitely recommend taking that approach because it's a pain to like, because then you have to go like to all of your UIs and find all the buttons and then make sure that they're all connected to a signal that plays a sound effect. And it's like, it's a whole mess. So I always create like at least one level of abstraction. Like I create my own custom button class that I can build out as necessary. And then I use that custom button everywhere where I need buttons. So that's a little tip. I don't know if it helps, but anyway, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes and we will continue on. All right, I'm back. Okay, so this bug, let's look at this. What is my enchant? Is it 7? I don't remember. I think it is. No, upgrade is 7. I think enchant is 4. I gotta memorize these numbers. I'm just gonna guess instead of actually looking at the number. Let's try it. Come on, enchant. There we go. So when I go to this enchant, if you recall on yesterday's stream, I updated the tentacle shaders a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean I put a whole new shader there. But when I click now, I get a bug because the animation is trying to change a wave multiplier and amplitude value that I don't believe is available in the shader itself. So let's go to the enchant. Enchant container. I guess it would just be the tentacles actually. So the tentacle here. So we do have a wave amplitude, but we don't have a wave frequency. Is this the frequency here? Yes, I believe so. So we need to make these instance uniforms. So we update that number there, and then in this wave amplitude, this is going to need to be something different now, because this is going to have to be, let's see, instance shader parameters, okay. Instance shader parameters, okay. And then when we modify this, wave amplitude, material set. I think actually this needs to be, oh, shader speed. Initial multiplier. Actually this needs to be. So I do need a speed as well. Okay. Shader speed. This is instance shader parameters speed. Okay. So this is going to actually be var initial speed is equal to get instance shader parameter. Oh, this is going to be annoying actually. Let's rename this. Tween wave multiplier, tween wave amplitude, and then we got to do private, static, read only, string name. Okay. So get instance shader parameter, shader speed. Get instance shader parameter, wave amplitude, wave multiplier. Okay. And then we tween we don't tween the material, we tween this. And this is going to be tween wave amplitude, tween wave multiplier. I think the initial amplitude is what? Yeah, 5 and frequency. Oh, this is called wave frequency. Set instance shader parameter shader speed, initial speed. Okay, let's see if that works. Hello, Steak Fan Club. Welcome back. The colors are nice. Awesome. Glad you like it. Is Sega Genesis the same as pixel art we can make, or does Sega have some specific things? I have no idea. I don't know anything about Sega or any classic game systems. Or, now why isn't that working? Did I mess something up? Let's see. Oh, I think my wave amplitude was 6. Oh, it's 6 by default. Okay, so let's just change this to 6 then. There we go. My guess is that it's the same. Yeah, I mean, I just think as a general rule, like there's nothing that a classic system does that you can't replicate with modern tools. I think that the classic systems were limited. Like the reason why they used the colors they did and everything is because they had limited memory, limited VRAM. And so I think there's a different way of making pixel art for those systems, but you can make pixel art however you want now. And so if you want to replicate the style of those things, you can obviously do that. But that did not work either. Why isn't that working? Nil and int. Oh, I don't need that. Instant shader parameters, wave amplitude. Well, let's just put a breakpoint here and see what happens. Those systems use limited colors because of literally the hardware could only handle so many per sprite at once. Yeah. Just colors different? Yeah. Because like the palette per sprite, in most cases, the palette, in most cases, modify the palette, but there was also a concept of hardware-defined palettes, generally speaking. Yeah. So yeah, it's they had limitations which made the games look a certain way, but you can definitely I mean that's what, like, there is no like real reason for modern pixel art games to exist. The reason modern pixel art games exist is because they are, what is the word I'm looking for? They're like calling back to the hardware limitations of the past, right? Like a pixel art game kind of automatically looks kind of like retro in a certain respect, because it's replicating or emulating hardware restrictions from decades ago, right? But there's no technical reason to make pixel art games today unless you're like, I don't know, unless somebody's going to come out with a handheld system that's like $20 and all it can play is pixel art games or whatever, but yeah, so that's the whole reason pixel art games exist in the modern era, is because of the initial pixel art games that were made due to hardware restrictions, right? Okay, initial speed. What? Oh, this is a variant. Oh. As float, as double? Why can't I get it as a float? Let's just do float. I think it was because those were variant. I'm curious about doing all the art and animation myself, but finding a coding guy to finish it, or is it not worth it? I mean, you can try to find somebody to work with, but I think I mentioned this before. It's like, you're not going to find somebody to make your game for you, you know? You're not going to be able to say, here's my game idea, it's so wonderful, and I just need somebody to build it for me. Like, at most, what you'll find is you'll find somebody who maybe wants to work with you, but they're going to want to design the game as well. Like, they're going to want to have ownership over it to some extent as well. So I think it's just better, like, if you have a game idea you want to make, I think it's better to just try to make it yourself. Why is this not working? This is puzzling to me. Type mismatch between initial and final value, nil and float. What the frink, man? What the frink? Zero, zero, zero. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I need to read the shader parameter from the tentacle because that's where the material is. That's right. Goodness gracious. And I don't need this, actually. Yeah, that's wrong. Okay. There was a couple of things going wrong there. All right, there we go. Want to make pixel art to keep the art tradition of making the simplest possible form of something. The illusion of characters that are just squares. Yeah, I mean, I love pixel art. I mean, pixel art is... I like pixel art for a number of reasons. One, it's relatively easy to do when you practice it a little bit. And then two, it's like... if you do it right, it looks good, like, no matter what. Like, indie and pixel art go together like... I don't know, something that goes together. Why is this not working? This is so bizarre to me. Oh. Because I need to put the tentacle there too. Gosh. So yeah, I like pixel art. I mean, it's relatively low effort. It looks good if you do it right. And I think it just has like kind of like a charming feel to it. You can make the pixel art and sell the assets or give them for free. You don't have to make a full game just so you can do pixel art. Right, yeah, that's true too. Oh, that looks terrible. So it's working now, but it looks terrible. Oh, because I'm not setting the speed anymore. Let's just do initial speed times 2, maybe? That doesn't look good at all. Is that speed actually doing what I think it's doing? Oh, that's fine. We don't want this to be local to scene either. Okay, so maybe we don't actually want to change the wave frequency at all. I mean, maybe we can, but I think it's the speed. The speed needs to go up to like 15. So we'll just put this at like 15. This wave amplitude probably should go up as well. Oh, maybe 10 is all right. Anyway, let's see what happens. Why is that not working? I don't understand this. Between wave amplitude initial from... Okay, let's try 10. Oh, wave frequency. Speed. I feel like the speed isn't working for whatever reason. So if I do frequency to 10 and amplitude to, or frequency, amplitude to 10 and frequency to 15 and speed to 15, that's what I should see. Maybe what I need to do is just set the frequency. So instead of animating the frequency, let's just set the frequency to 15 as well. And then we will take the wave amplitude. The initial amplitude is 6. Let's just see what that does. I think because I'm animating too many things at once, it's not looking so good. Between wave frequency is never assigned. So if you're really passionate about pixel art, you want to make a game with a certain theme, then make an asset pack that has all the art and animations you want to make. Otherwise, you probably need to learn code or you need to pay the programmer to build a game for you. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work, pixel art. It's definitely a lot of work. Why is it not working? What is going on? Something is funky. This is not working at all. I'm about to throw my computer out the window. No, I'm not going to do that, but there's just something weird happening here. I don't understand this. It looks fine when I do it in the editor, but initial speed, 2. Initial amplitude, 6. Initial frequency, 10. We're setting the shader speed to 15. We're setting the frequency to 15. Then we're tweaking the amplitude to the initial amplitude from 15. Oh, you know what? This is probably wrong. This probably needs to be tween.chain here, because otherwise this finished... Does the finish run in parallel? I don't think so, actually. Maybe I'm wrong. No, the finish should be after all the parallel operations are done. They might want creative input. Yeah, all I'm saying is that a programmer is not going to work for free to build your game. You can find somebody to collaborate with, but it has to be a collaboration, right? Like, you have to agree on the vision of the game, which entails some of your ideas and some of their ideas, and that back and forth. You could definitely find somebody to collaborate with. People do it all the time with game jams, right? Like, it's a 48-hour commitment or 72-hour commitment. You have an artist, you got a programmer, you got a sound person, and they all agree on the game that they want to make, and they all handle their own individual areas of expertise, right? And then they create a project. But if you're trying to make a game that's like more full, or it's going to be a longer effort, the person who's working with you either has to be a co-owner of the project, or you have to pay them. You're not going to find anyone that's going to work for free for your project. That's all I'm saying. This is bizarre. Why is this not working at all? What happens if I just don't animate this stuff? I feel like I'm modifying the shaders, but they're just not doing anything. It's kind of weird. Simpler the art game, the faster it is to make. Look at a game like Realm of the Mad God. Okay, I was experimenting with treating warnings as errors, but this is just annoying, so goodbye. Realm of the Mad God, the whole game is just low pixel characters with a couple frames each. Yeah. My friend loves that game. Yeah, pixel art is hard. Yeah, it's time consuming for sure. Okay, so that's just not working. Why is that not working? I am kind of baffled. Yeah, I think honestly, like if you want to make a game, I think even though it's a lot of work, my opinion is that the path of least effort is just to learn the skill yourself. And it's least effort, not just like for the immediate project that you want to do, but that skill is going to build up over time, right? So if you go, let's say you go and pay a programmer. You pay a programmer, you can get a game made. Okay, the game is done. And now you want to make another game. So what do you got to do? You got to find another programmer, fork out more money, and so on and so forth. So I think it's actually a better investment if you're expecting to keep making games to just learn the skills up front. And it's going to be hard at first. It's going to feel very slow and very like difficult, but that skill is going to compound over time. So after you make 1 and 2 and 3 games, you're going to be a competent enough programmer that when you get to that 4th game, you're just going to be able to get into the work and do it and bring your vision to life, right? So I think that is like on a long enough time scale, the path of least resistance is just to learn the skills yourself so you can have full creative control, so you can make the game on your own timeline. And yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Wow, this is bizarre. Am I doing this right? What is going on here? You also need a portfolio if you want to be a pixel artist. Then you need to have a bunch of pixel art and try to join a team or studio. Game thing if you want to be developer or studio. Am I missing something here? Why is this not working? What am I missing? What am I missing? Oh, there's a deer outside my window. Hello, deer. It just freezes. Do you see that? Why is that happening? Is it failing to set these? Oh, you know what? I know what it is. It's treating these as integers, probably. Let's make those floats explicitly. Of course it would be something ridiculous like that. No errors, no nothing. Those were just being treated as integers, and that didn't work with the uniform float definition. Wow, that is not fun. But it's okay because I figured it out now. I don't think I'm going to change the frequency, but let's just see. What does the frequency do again? It just adds more ripples. I'm mostly interested in changing the... Yeah, I don't think I want to change the frequency, so I'm actually going to modify this. We're just going to make this a uniform float, just a normal uniform, not an instance uniform, and we're going to get rid of the frequency here and here. Okay. Hopefully this works now. Is the application you're using this better at handling 2D game than Unity Hub? I mean, it's... Every modern engine is going to be capable of basically doing 2D games. It's the question of whether an engine is better or not, I think largely comes down to your technical needs. So are you doing something, or you're trying to do something that is more easily supported in one engine versus another? And then the secondary question is, which one is easier for you to work with? Which one is better for your workflow? Which one do you feel more comfortable in? Those are the main considerations. If you're just going to make a basic 2D pixel art game, a platformer or a shooter or a bullet hell or whatever, I don't think you can go wrong with any of the major engines. So it just becomes a question of like, which one feels better to you, right? Is your game likely to sell a bunch of copies? Well, do you want to avoid the Unity licensing fee? Then go use Godot, right? Do you just like open source software? Then use Godot. Do you just like the way Godot, like I use Godot not because it's open source, not because there's no licensing fees, but because it's the easiest, like I feel most productive in the Godot engine. It just like clicks for me in a way that other engines haven't necessarily. And it just feels like really lightweight and powerful at the same time. And on top of that, I think it has a great trajectory. Like the direction of its development is going in the right way. So I kind of want to be like an early, well, I was an early adopter many years ago. Godot is very popular now, but I kind of want to be on that early adopter, like build up the Godot expertise as this thing becomes more in demand. And then, you know, I can create educational content for people and all that stuff. I mean, that's one of the reasons why my courses, I think, were so successful is like, I was one of the few people when Godot 3 started rolling around that actually spent the time with the engine to get an intimate understanding of it and then create like a comprehensive course for like, here's how you build things in Godot, right? So anyway, all that's to say, there's a lot of considerations to make based on which engine you choose. And I think for a 2D pixel game, the technical considerations are basically like non-existent outside of some exceptions, right? You can make the same exact 2D platformer game in Unity as you can in Godot or Love 2D or whatever you want to use. Game Maker. Coder having issues coding after telling us to learn to code. Well, the thing about programming is that it's still very complex, and even if you have a lot of experience, there are some situations where it's like, that is not working in a very intuitive manner. But yeah, it is kind of funny, kind of ironic. You go for Godot and Krita. Okay, perfect. That's looking much better now. What is the initial amplitude? I forgot. The initial amplitude is 6. So maybe we'll knock this down just a little bit. Now I'm kind of wondering if I should update the wave. Maybe not the wave frequency, but maybe I should tween the speed over time. We'll try that too. Okay, let's see if that creates a better thing. So I basically want it to like, I want it to increase in its waviness and then slowly settle back to like its default waviness. Oh, that did not work. So the problem with this speed is that as I go up, you see it becomes really jittery. I wonder if there's a way that I can fix that though. Because this is multiplicative, right? So as I'm changing the number, that's causing a lot of issues. So if I do uniform float additional speed, let's just try 10. Let's do plus time times, this might be the same problem. Yeah, that's also causing a waviness. So actually, let's do this. Nope, I'm not going to be able to add those together either. So this needs to be like a purely additive thing. The problem is that I'm going to have to probably set that every frame actually. Is this even working? What's going on here? Oh, that's just an offset. Right, so that's not actually going to work. That's just an offset. So yeah, the fundamental problem is I can't animate this because that creates a jitteriness, and that's because of the multiplicative nature of this. So it makes sense if you think about it, right? Like, time times speed. Well, speed is 2, right? So I'm multiplying the time times 2, but now all of a sudden, like, I set the speed to 6, but then the speed starts going back down to 2, and so this... that number is just going to be changing very haphazardly is basically the way that this is working. So I almost need to keep like a running tally of like the wave offset here. So I almost need, instead of like float animated wave offset. So if I do like an animated wave offset and I add that in here, and let's say I started off at 100, and then I bring this down. I can start bringing that down slower. So if I do 100, let's say if I go to 100, and then over 0.75 seconds, I started off quick, and then it slows down. Or maybe I should go from 0 to 100. So I go 0, start it off quick, and then slow it down. Yeah, that's what I'm going to need to do. Okay, so we don't want to make this. I guess we'll keep that, but we need the animated wave offset here as well. So I may not need this speed anymore because this animated wave offset is going to control the speed. So let's just do uniform float speed. We don't need that to be controllable. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of this. Okay. Tentacle, we're going to do tween animated wave offset. We'll do 100. Wait. Yeah. From 0. Do I want the in easing type? No, I want out. So this needs to be out. I don't need this initial speed anymore. Okay. Let's see what that does. Code until something breaks and fix it, repeat, and the project is done, yeah. If you don't like the engine or coding, try something else, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things. Oh, that didn't work at all. Maybe I try a smaller value. Instead of doing 100, I do 225 maybe. Okay, so that's almost there. This just needs to be a smaller number. And we'll be golden, Pony Boy. Ooh, there we go. This probably needs to be up just a little bit more aggressive there. And then the amplitude is the thing being, yeah, changed. That looks good to me. What do you guys think? How's it looking? I might actually bring this amplitude back up to 15 here. What are you guys thinking about that? Looks good? No? Yes? Maybe? I think that looks pretty good, actually. Sega games are hard. I'm not a fan of classic games at all. I honestly don't understand. I mean, I guess I do understand the fascination with Sega, or like not Sega, but like classic games. But I just think classic games are just no fun whatsoever. And maybe that's an opinion that's gonna get me like put me in the bad graces of the game dev community. But yeah, I guess I don't fully understand the modern appeal of those classic games other than like nostalgia. But I just think they're bad games almost universally. But it's okay. I mean, to each their own. If you like those games, then there's nothing, there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone's entitled to like what they like. But I'm kind of discovering that I just generally don't like games, like just as a general thing. Like I'm thinking back to all the games that I genuinely enjoyed and didn't regret purchasing. And that's like 10 games total, maybe, it's like, I have my Steam library full. It's like I would never in a million years play this game. This game that's in my Steam library because it came from like a Humble Bundle or whatever. It's like there's no way on earth I'm gonna play this game. Like it's just not interesting to me at all. I don't know if maybe other people are like that, but it's kind of interesting. here I am making games and I don't actually like that many games. Looks fantastic. Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. Rock hard games, it hurts my brain and stops the vibes of just imbibing with a friend and seeing who can pass level 3 first. That is fun. Like me and my friends, what we would do sometimes is we would get a bunch of drinks and then we would play Dark Souls or something. But what we would do is we would switch off the controller every time we died. So the rule was basically like, you're allowed to do whatever you want with the character while you're in control of the character. You can go fight anything, you can respec the character, you can consume things, you can loot things, you can upgrade weapons, whatever. But when you die, now it's the other person's turn and they have full ownership of the character. That's a really, really fun way of playing like hard games where you're dying frequently. If you've got friends together, you just kind of like pass around the controller as you die. And yeah, that can be a very fun experience for sure. I like that. Still can't comprehend the rules of your game. I've never played this type of game. Yeah, auto battlers are a little bit hard to understand. I mean, I'm making an auto battler, and of the auto battlers that I've tried, it's like it's almost always just hard to know with certainty what's happening. Those are some of the problems I'm trying to fix in Alchemy Mortis, like to the extent that I can quote unquote move the genre forward. Not to sound too pretentious, but I do think that one of the weaknesses of auto battlers is that it's really hard to just tell what's going on. And so that's why I want to spend the time to like create a very detailed combat log so you can trace like how everything is happening. That's why I want to do an encyclopedia which will explain in detail like here's how the mechanics work. So the goal is to make the game approachable enough where you don't really need to know the ins and outs of how everything works. You can kind of get the gist of it just by reading the ability descriptions. But for the people that like want to min-max and like really dig their teeth into it, I want to make all the information available to them about how things work and how certain interactions work and stuff like that. Cool, I like that. In general, I have a hard time playing any single player game. I almost exclusively play games that have multiplayer available in co-op form. Yeah, me too, me too. Used to play single player all the time. Middle one looks a bit weird since it's a bit more horizontal. Yeah, that's true. But I think my primary goal is to fix this shader issue because it was actually causing like an error that was freezing the game. Not freezing the game, but it was kind of like almost a soft lock. So anyway, I think that's fixed. You know, there's still room to improve everything for sure, but is it idle? This game, no, it's not idle. It's auto battler, which means that you basically just set up the board and then you watch it play out, but it's not an idle game, no. You have to actively play it and make decisions and move on the map and stuff like that. Anyway, that's going to be it for the stream for right now. I'm hungry, so I'm going to go get some lunch. If I'm streaming later today, I will put a notification in the Discord, which you can join in the description below. Again, Alchemy Mortis is available for wish listing as well. So if you would please consider wish listing, that would help me out a lot. You can also support the game on Patreon, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, follow on Twitch, all that good stuff. Everything helps. I appreciate all of your support. Thanks for hanging out and chatting with me. And yeah, keep an eye on the Discord for the next stream. Otherwise, I will be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. I also hope you have a great rest of your day. And bye-bye for now.